Hey everybody, Captain Tommy Scoville. Welcome to the Lifeboat. Yes, Rabbit is going to be after this. I screwed up earlier, Alan Ballantyne's fault. And I am going to be going live at 5 my time. That's 4 Cali time, 4 o'clock California time. That is when we will be going down the rabbit hole over on Rabbit's channel. Whoa! And that is loud. Didn't know that was on. So that gives you an idea how long that delay is, huh, people? Isn't that awful? That's how long that delay is. So we are going to be going down the rabbit hole. And before we get rolling today on what I wanted to talk about, I did want to bring everybody up to speed on good old Ruby Franke. Because Ruby Franke has, there she is. Good old Ruby Franke took a deal today. She went into court and pled guilty. She is stipulating to every single thing. She is saying, yeah, I did it. She's going to do elocution, which means she's going to talk about it. She is not going to, her lawyer rather, is not going to argue that prison is an appropriate sentence. This woman is going to prison. The question is going to be how long. Now, part of this plea agreement between the prosecution and the defense is going to get her 4 sentences, her 4 felonies are going to be run at the same time. That's something that this deal gets for her, which saves this woman a ton of time because these charges carry anywhere from 1 to 15 years. Traditionally, they're not giving something under 4 or 5 for charges like this. Normally, you're going to see at least 5 years. If she had had 3 or 4 of these, right, that's a 20-year sentence. Now, if she gets 4 5-year terms, that's something that she can live with, right? So that was a pretty good deal as far as that goes. Part of this deal, I am sure, is going to entail her rolling big time on her partner. We're going to see Miss Hildebrand in a crap load of trouble. That is my prediction because that woman is filthy. And I'm not trying to bum anybody out, but so is that church. It doesn't mean that the people that believe what they believe are bad people, right? I'm not busting on Mormons, but boy, oh boy, when you dig into this one, it's ugly. There were checks being cut from the church to that woman, and that, I think, crosses all kinds of lines, right? There's some ethics things in there that should truthfully and honestly make you sick. Speaking of making you sick, most of us here spend a decent amount of time on the big red button, right? We cruise around YouTube and we look at other creators' content, right? We dig long form. This is my audience is the same as Aaron's audience. It's the same as almost everybody's audience that do long form content. We run into one another. Found a video of Franke pleading guilty to all charges. You know what, Calhoun? Yeah, you know what? It's how long is the video? Because if it's the 5-minute number, I don't know that we want to sit through 5 minutes of it because here's the deal, people. And most of this is just pro forma, right? It's the exact same thing said in every single court case. If you've never seen it before, you thought they were consecutive, but only 4. Tampa B, you know what? Calhoun, run it then. You could be right, Tampa B. Let's check it. I would hate to get that wrong. Let's run it. Calhoun, pull that up when you get a chance. That would really be worth checking out because, I don't want to get that wrong, Tampa B. I like that. I like that better. Run it. 4 minutes we can live with. Now, can we get sound? Therein lies the question. Yeah, okay. We may have sound issues. If so, we'll work on this. Normally, I don't listen to SA because it's triggering. Thank you, Christina. What a beautiful thing to say. If you have any idea what that means to me, wow, what a beautiful thing to say. That is that's heartwarming. I would love to believe that I could take some credit in that. I think that, boy, the group here, it's a good group of people, and the wrenches here are pretty good at making sure that good stuff. You know what, Tampa B, you could be right. I will research it. I would hate to be wrong. You could be right. I'll tell you what, though. Maybe, again, a lot of this stuff tends to be boilerplate pro forma. Like you weren't promised anything by the, this one kills me. They ask you every time you plead guilty. Tommy, the
Ms. Franke,
defense,
how do you
the
plead to count 1, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 3, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony.
Guilty.
To count 5, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony.
Guilty.
And to count 6, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony.
With my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and my children. Guilty.
Nice. Calhoun, listen, when you're not on air with me, see if you can find where they talk about, because they're going to talk about the plea deal. I would be very, very interested to find out whether or not those are running bow-legged, as the convicts would say, if they're running wild, stacked one after the other, or if they're all going to be run concurrent. One of the reasons that I thought it was going to be a concurrent thing, and I could be wrong, I absolutely could be wrong. More often than not, that's really like you're going in there with that. And if she's going to turn state's evidence on this, taking this plea deal and turning state's evidence, maybe she's just, is she hoping to get 20? Because if they're running wild, I think she's probably going to get 5 apiece. That's my guess. These were pretty horrific injuries, people. This was ugly stuff. Super, super ugly stuff. I do not know Jessica Kent. I'm sorry. I'm bad at this. I wish I got a chance to get out more, so to speak. I love watching. 5 hours ago, she was set to enter a plea deal. Yeah, and she did appear. I saw I was watching it, and I thought that they said that she made arrangements so that those 4, the judge said specifically, we're not going to have an argument about prison being an appropriate sentence. That's good. Now they're going to go do a pre-sentence investigation where they look into this case. Right, this PSI is going to be huge. It's going to be bigger than it is in anything I've seen online in a long time, really, because there's not going to be court proceedings, people. We're not going to see a trial. We're not going to see any of this. What's going to happen is the investigation is going to be this PSI, this pre-sentence investigation. They're going to look into all of this dirt. I guess 2 to 4 on each. You could be right, Tampa. You could be right. I guess it depends. Like, we don't get to see the proffer letter. There's going to be what is referred to as a proffer letter. And that proffer letter says, here's what I'm going to do for you, right? Here's what I'm going to do for you. And then they come back and go, okay, well, then you plead guilty. Now, in the state, it's a little different. In the feds, they don't allow any kind of, you don't make the deal ahead of time. In the feds, the guy just turns himself over. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, you spill your guts, you do whatever you're going to do, and then you may or may not get help. They don't make you any promises. Normally on a state level, you can go in and cut a deal, right? These guys go in and get sweetheart deals in the state. The feds don't worry about making great deals. They don't have to. If you go to court, you're going to lose. But in the state, very often they make sweetheart deals. That would be a sweetheart deal, especially if she could get 2, Tampa. If she could get 8 years out of this, probably be on the street in 4.5 to 5 with time off for good behavior. I think she won the lottery. This is child abuse. This woman should get 20 years. I'd like to see her get 15 on all of them. You know, the evidence said that the ligature marks in some places were like bone deep. This is not your run-of-the-mill abuse. This is absolutely disgusting. No time set, but going to be consecutive. She did not get much of a deal. I love it. Thank you, Tampa. This is why our crew is awesome. It is going to be consecutive. Good, then she's going to do some time. But if she could get 2, that's 8 years, right? And usually the way this works, it's kind of confusing. But if you were to get, you could actually be out theoretically quicker than that, because what they do, there's a lot of truth to this. This is my son's takeaway on this, but there really is a lot of truth to this, people. You would be astounded at how some of these plea deals take place. Like, I remember an attorney of mine very specifically saying to me, "We got the deal." Like, he came up to the courthouse to talk to me, and he was in the bag, like he was loaded. And I go, "Man, are you all right? Like, you're shit-faced." And he's like, "Yeah, but we got the deal." He said, "We went to lunch together, me and the prosecutor." And I'm like, "And got loaded and cut the deal from my life over a bunch of beers." But these people do go out to lunch. These people do hang out with one another, right? They all know each other, especially when if you're working with a public defender. The public defenders and the prosecutors are together all day, every day. All day, every day. We're dealing one case after another. And don't think they don't say things like, "All right, look, we'll give you a deal on this one, but I get a deal on the next one." Well, that's just great, isn't it? You know, our system is so fractured, people. It's so disgusting. It really is. But it's going to be really interesting to see how much assistance she provided. How happy are they with what she was able to do about Hildebrand? That's going to be the question. And that's going to be what decides how much time she's going to get. Now, we go around the net and we watch a lot of stuff, right? And we watch long form and we're into it. I know a lot of you watch a YouTube channel called Soft White Underbelly, right? This is not something that most people, if I thought that most of you hadn't heard of it, I might not have even used their name. But Soft White Underbelly has put up content that in the past, it's one of those shows. My son and I were talking about this earlier, and Calhoun said to me, you know what? I can watch about 5 or 10 minutes. He's like, I always start getting so uncomfortable that I can't get through it. Now, there's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for putting things on that are so uncomfortable that it forces us to have a conversation about things that we do not like to have conversations about. I think that's legitimate. You putting on a 13-year-old girl who sells her body as a way to make a living is irresponsible at best. And if you're doing it to make money, I think it should be criminal. I think it should be criminal. If you're putting up a 13-year-old girl in a bikini to talk about prostitution, I think you're dancing on a line that goes from creating content that makes people talk to exploiting somebody who is in the worst position in the world and exploiting them for views. And this really becomes something that, yes, the bikini picture has since been hidden or taken down, but it sure as hell did the job already, didn't it? Right? I'm not tremendously impressed that the bikini shot was taken down and it was replaced with this. This is a 13-year-old girl who sells herself. And this is a tragedy, right? At levels that are hard to wrap your brain around. And unfortunately, this is a business model for shows out there. There are content creators on the internet. This girl did an entire interview, Esperanza. This girl did an entire interview with Soft White Underbelly where she wore a bikini that they had to go back. So this is they didn't just take down the bikini picture and put this up. What they did was they went back and blurred the nipples because you could very clearly see this girl's. And I did not go to see this video, people, and I'm going to really go off on this and tell you why, right? I have friends who are content creators that have done videos about this. I've seen some of the videos they've done. She had a transparent bikini top. I think Amy probably did a decent job of describing that. A 13-year-old girl with a completely exposed midriff, right, wearing just a pair of shorts and a bikini top. And the bikini top was see-through. This is in as bad taste as you could possibly do. And I get it. I get that you want to have the conversation, but you could have a conversation with that girl in a sweatshirt. And I'll be really honest. I didn't think you should do that. I don't think you interview a 13-year-old and then put it up on the big red button. I don't think you interview somebody that is that deep in the criminal life and somehow make it normal, right? Somehow make it normal. There's something so wrong with that. And I'm not trying to sound like a freaking Boy Scout, but you know what? If you're that close to that person, maybe don't film them, do something about it, right? Talk to them, do what you can to try to help, because I don't know. I'm disturbed by a trend that I'm watching. He apparently took it down on YouTube, but is selling his subscription channel with it uncensored. Well, and there's a shocker, isn't it? Right. So what he does is he comes over here and gets everybody really angry and then drives that traffic to somewhere where they're paying for it and shows what is, I don't know. If I'm looking at a 13-year-old girl's nipples, that's child pornography at some level. I don't want to see a naked 13-year-old, any part of her naked. There's something seriously freaking wrong with this, right? Now, let me tell you where this really starts to become an issue, right? For us. This is where this really starts to be an issue. Is that sadly, we're keeping it on the air. You hear me? We're keeping it on the air because the number of us that go over and look at this stuff and then, do the exclamation of, I'm disgusted. Well, if we go over and we watch it, we vote for that crap. We keep it up. We put enough views on there to get this thing pushed farther. If everybody saw something like that and went, you know what? I'm not even going to click on this long enough to report it, because doing so is going to give it a view, right? You know, I get people all the time that go, yeah, you know, I watch people that make trashy content about you, but only to report it. Do me a favor. Let it go. Let it go. You don't need to report these people. Stop looking at it. Stop looking at anything exploitive, because this is a crack in our culture, right? This is literally our culture falling apart. We have had hearings in Congress where the richest people on planet Earth had to go up and sit in front of Congress and say, you know what? Here's the deal. Your platform, which used to be called Facebook, right? Now it's Meta. Your platform caters to freaks. Your algorithm caters to people that are trying to look at pictures of prepubescent kids. They're on the Hill talking about this, right? And their ugly cousin, right? The one that makes the same sound as a clock. You know who I'm talking about? I won't even say the name of that app, right? I don't even want to talk about it. That is the most evil thing on planet Earth. It's more of a threat than drugs. How's that? It is more of a threat than drugs. We're letting the communist Chinese party decide what our kids look at. If you look at that app in their country, it does math. It teaches their kids about where things are in the world in terms of geography. And in our country, it's 13-year-old and 12-year-old girls dancing to song lyrics that I'm a convict and they make me blush. I'm sorry. I hate to sound like my dad, but the lyrics to some of these songs are terrifying. They're terrifying. I looked up one. I looked up one at a suggestion of my daughter. I said, you know, what's the worst example? And she gave me a song by this person. I started reading the lyrics to this. I could not come on here and read them as if it were a poem. I don't think I could do it. And I went to prison for bank robbery. I'm not what you consider soft, but I mean just the most graphic descriptions of, if I went to a college campus and I walked up and grabbed a microphone and I spoke what she was singing, I would get canceled, banned, run out of the country. But it's completely cool for her to sing it. And I guess empowering for 11-year-old girls to do dances to on the Communist Party's biggest propaganda tool in history. The most advanced AI on planet Earth is just there to really mess up your kids, right? Your kids aren't watching that app. That app is watching your kids. And they go, what difference does it make? Who cares? My kid's not doing anything illegal. I don't think you're getting it. That's not what they're doing. What the app is doing is it's deciding what it can sell your kid. And I don't just mean Nike shoes, right? I don't mean Apple products. I mean, can I sell you on the fact that your country sucks? Can I sell you on the fact that the nuclear family, a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, that's evil and should not be in place? Think I'm kidding? Build yourself up a fake profile. I've had at least 7 people who wrote to me after doing this. Build yourself a profile on that platform and make yourself a 12 or 13-year-old girl, right? And just watch what it thinks you should look at as a 12 or 13-year-old American girl. This is real. No, that is Spanx Calhoun, who is making comments in the chat as the lifeboat. That is my son and current engineer and mixer. That's right. Take their quizzes and you'll give them everything you want. But even if you don't, what it's doing is it's measuring how long they will stay on one particular thing before they scroll to the next one. And it's measuring it to the microsecond, and it pushes it to see how long it can keep you on a subject matter before it has to give you what they know you like. Let's say the kitten video gives you that hit of dopamine, the cat video. Well, it's going to show you those cat videos sandwiched in between whatever propaganda they want to shove down your kid's throat. And when your kid starts getting bored and goes, screw this, and leaves or goes to something else, the algo goes 13.7 seconds. When he comes back, let's try 13.1. Yeah. This is the most advanced computer system on Earth. On Earth. There's nobody that argues this. There is no more advanced AI on Earth. You think the most advanced AI on Earth was designed to help your kids have fun doing dance videos? You're an ignoramus. I'm sorry. You're an ignoramus. You would think that the most powerful AI on planet Earth would probably have something to do with the military, wouldn't you? Well, it does. And you're letting it into your living rooms. So this is a frightening proposition, people. And it has become so much a part of this society that it's terrifying, right? We busted a guy, Jeffrey Epstein. And what was he doing, right? This is really odd. What was the cat doing? Here's the guy's a billionaire, right? But nobody seems to know how he became a billionaire. You see, the last job that he had recorded anywhere, he was working part-time as a substitute teacher, right? That's odd. Somehow the guy becomes a billionaire. The way the guy becomes, there he is, the way this cat becomes a billionaire, unless you're, again, not paying attention. Here's what he did. He gave the richest and the dirtiest elites on this planet what they wanted that they could not get with all of the money on planet Earth. And you know what that was? Having sex with children. This is such a part of the society in this country and in this world that this was all right. Look at the list of people that this guy was flying around with. And by the way, I know guys are pigs. There was a grip of really famous women flying to that island. Wasn't just famous guys. It was the carrot that was dangled in front of the elite so that they could use the fact that these people slept with kids to control them into voting for whatever he wanted. There's Lolita Island. How does a guy with no cash buy an island? Well, that's weird, isn't it? You don't think there might be a 3-letter agency somewhere behind that, do you? For real. This guy gets whacked on you know what watch, on the unalive watch, where there is literally someone watching him and a camera on him 24 hours a day. He managed to take himself out with a live person watching him through a glass door and a camera in the ceiling. The camera was disabled and there was nobody sitting there. You buy that? I don't. But do you understand how much this is a problem in society? Okay, here's the deal. I don't care if you vote red or if you vote blue. I don't care if you like Trump or hate him. I don't care if you think Biden's a genius or an idiot. Our southern border has got more kids under the age of 18 coming across unaccompanied. And by that, I mean they're with people, but those people aren't their parents. And when those kids get across this border, this is the biggest humanitarian crisis for human smuggling on Earth in history. And they don't want to do anything about it because it'll give the other party a victory. And they're both guilty. I'm not crapping on one of them. They're both guilty. They would have to come together and give whoever was in office a victory. And they're so not willing to give the other party a victory that they will allow kids from other countries to get into a sex slave or whatever trade they're doing with these kids every day. Every day. Do you have to be a genius to say we're going to let these kids in? I know you don't have any papers that prove these kids are yours. Here's a free cell phone that we're going to text you on to show up in court. Where would you like a plane ticket to go to with these kids in America? You got any place you want to go? You think I'm woofing you? Research it. That's what's happening. By the way, and a $5,000 Visa gift card this year. $5,000 Visa gift card. Why wouldn't you come? Why wouldn't you come? Do you blame anybody? A cell phone, $5,000 and a plane ticket? I'll go. Where are they giving that away someplace else that I can go? Right? I mean, but the biggest humanitarian crisis we are causing, the America, right? America is causing this. Now, keep going down the list, right? Church of Scientology, we talk about them all the time here. How about a 12-year-old signing a $1 billion year contract? Part of which says, if you get repaid, right? If somebody SAs you, we're going to handle that in-house, right? And that's convenient because we have all these famous people that kind of like to do it with kids, right? So they're just going to take advantage of all of you. And then we'll have this arbitration thing and you can write checks, right? And buy some more auditing for the people who were victimized so that they can get through this. That's fair, right? This is what's been going on, people. And you know what I'm finding the longer that I sit in this friggin' chair? If you throw the light on, you're going to find a kid getting abused. You throw a light on, anywhere right now, you're going to find a kid getting abused. Right? What is the church being accused of? If you've never seen Serge talk about this, Serge Del Mar, if you've never seen Serge talk about this, this is terrifying, right? This is a church that has systematically gotten away with human trafficking. They take 12-year-old kids from other countries who sign billion-year contracts and bring them here to do whatever, right? And tell me, I want to tell you something, people. This right here, you think American kids are going to end up in Scientology? With this puppy in their hand and with South Park, do you think American kids are running down to orgs to sign up? No, sir. That sleazy ass cult is going to go to places where they don't know about them, right? That's where they're going to go. And now we have an international, right? International human trafficking cult with the nicest building you've ever seen in the middle of Hollywood, California, that they have called the Celebrity Center. Good God. Do you think things have gone on in that Celebrity Center you don't want to know about? For real. This is the cult of celebrity. And the cult of celebrity, boys and girls, absolutely caters to this obsession with children as sex objects. R. Kelly, justice, right? R. Kelly's gone. Do you think R. Kelly is the only dude doing this? I mean, if I said right now, tell you what, I will say right now, go ahead and toss up the names of anybody in the music business that you have heard has screwed around with somebody underage, where it is just kind of known that it has happened. Go ahead and throw the name up, because these names will be the same names written by all of the same people. Spanky, throw up that handsome gentleman right there. This guy here, Diddy, right? We know this dude has been a predator, right? This dude's a stone cold predator, but he's got Sean John. That's pretty cool stuff, right? I mean, you got to love Sean John. And he keeps changing his name to something cooler every single time we get pissed, right? He was Sean Combs. Then he became what? P. Daddy or P. whatever. Now he's Diddy. Yeah, Diddley. There you go. Yeah, Diddley. I like it. Diddley's much better. I'll be straight with you, people, right? I will be straight with you. This entire industry is tainted, right? This entire industry. John Phillips. I mean, stone busted. Kyle nailed that one. John Phillips this was not even like open to debate. We just know that this happens, right? But what? But they're all still doing it, right? Jay-Z is supposedly knee deep in this. I was deep diving on this stuff the other night, and they were talking about how they literally were trying to sell artists, underage artists, to one another. And they weren't talking about, these were people that weren't saying, oh, as an artist, we're going to make some, oh, no, I want that thing. How much do you want for that? Like that kind of stuff. And this at a time like right now, I probably need Reese here, right? Because how do you do this one without Reese? But funny thing happened, right? Tried disappearing for about 12 or 13 years, right? Try getting sucked out of society, right? Dropped completely out of society where you're gone. And then you come back 12 years later. It's really interesting how things change while you're gone. You understand? I saw kids dressed in ways that if they had dressed like that when I was going in, their parents would have been arrested. I promise you, I'm not being funny. I'm dead serious. Crap that was going on that I would have gone, there's no way. In my lifetime, this doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in my lifetime. Listen, before anybody gets upset, hear me out before you put up any comment. But you want drag queen hour? You want drag queens to go? Tell you what, how about I dress like a male stripper? Right? Would you want me reading to your kids? I wouldn't want me reading to a kid dressed as a male stripper. And that's my gender, right? That's just not right. I wouldn't want a stripper who was born a woman reading to my kids. Why the hell would you bring your occupation to my school? What the hell, right? I don't want anybody of any gender dressed in any way inappropriately reading to my kids. Michael Jackson. I mean, how long did they talk about that? Bieber, here we go. You see this? This is absolutely, right? This is absolutely something that the internet is covered from one side of to the other with stories of this. right? That Bieber was absolutely, that parents send these kids to Diddy camp. Huh? Huh? The sexualization, the over-sexualization of our children has gotten to a point where we're in danger, people. We are in huge danger. Do you know that there is a term now called minor attracted person, right? You ever heard George Carlin talk about this? When they start adding syllables to anything, you're getting BS'd. They're trying to take something that is very logical and very in your face, and they're trying to make it sound not quite so bad. If you see them start adding syllables, I'm not using the term minor attracted person. I'm going to go with freak, right? That's the one I'm sticking with. Freak. I'm sorry. If you find yourself attracted to a child, you know what? Lean in and take one for the team. For real. I would not remain on this planet if I found myself aroused by a 12-year-old. I would find a really nice bridge and see what it felt like to bungee jump without a cord attached to my ankles. Right? I don't get it. But let me promise you this. I do know this, that whatever we start to make acceptable becomes acceptable. Right? This has been happening our entire lives. Right? Frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn. Took them 3 or 4 months to get permission to make a film out of. Now we make films where the lips of a person is stitched to the anus of the person in front of them. Then that person, right, the human centipede, that film got made. And they couldn't say, frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn. Do you see how far we've come in 50 years? Okay, the Overton window, remember? That thing I was talking about? Okay, well, we've blown it the hell out. And do you know how it stops? I'm not even kidding you. You know how it stops? If I was talking about other things, we could get 500 people here. No one wants to hear this. This is uncomfortable. I don't blame you, by the way. I don't blame anybody. This is unfreaking comfortable. Oh, Mary, 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 Mary. Shut up. I'm sorry. I'm not even kidding. Mary, did you hear the point that I made? Did you hear the point that I made? Why would you have someone dressed as a stripper in any outfit? Whether it was drag or normal, why would you want someone dressed as a stripper reading to your kids? Honestly, this is a dumb comment. I'm not picking on anyone who lives that lifestyle. But whatever lifestyle you live, would you want me reading to your kids in a thong? Make a lot of sense? Holy hell. Don't make it about what it's not. It wasn't about that. It was never about that. I'm talking about the common sense that we once had as a society. We're so afraid to say something that might offend somebody that we'll let them walk into there dressed as whoever they, oh, God forbid, man. You want to get on that bandwagon? You want canceled? You want these people mad at you? No, let them in. Guess what? I don't care. Hate me. Go ahead, hate me. Yeah, we don't have to worry about those drag people. It's the bad men, right, that are just out in the world. Well, the bad men aren't trying to go read in your schools, and we're not pushing it nationwide, right? Let's force this into every library in America. How about maybe letting parents decide what the kids think is decent and raise them that way? I wouldn't want the people at school having my kid that in any grade be told what is normal and what is not, because I don't know what those people think is normal, right? I didn't elect them for that. I elected them to teach them how to friggin' read. We did all right for a long time. What anyone says, we did. We did. Did we have a long way to come? Yeah. But we throw out the baby with the bathwater. It's what we do, right? We're famous for it in this country. We go smoking by our exit like a bunch of idiots, right? Take it to the freaking extreme. We got to prove to everybody that we're so cool with anybody's lifestyle that you can have sex in a classroom. Follow me? I mean, we got to, hell, I'm good with anything. You want to sleep with a horse? I'm not prejudiced, dude. Do what you do. As long as the horse is cool with it, I'm good. In fact, we don't say bestiality anymore. That word went away too. You know that, right? Now it's called a zoophile. Why the hell is that? Why do we need it? Bestiality was what? Too mean to people that wanted to have sex with animals? Guess what? They need to be mean. Those people should be mean, right? Why would you be nice to someone that wants to have sex with an animal? What? Why isn't anyone talking about the men and women that are regular people? Well, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Well, here's why. Because the 1%, we have to prove that We will cater to that 1% no matter what. If it means tearing up every single swimming pool in the United States of America, do you realize that pools that you go swimming in, almost all of them nationwide, we got rid of because the feds passed a law that said every single pool in America had to have the ability to lower handicapped people into the pool to swim. I think that's great. Everybody should have that ability. I love that idea. Trouble is, we just got rid of half the pools, right? Because half the pools couldn't afford that equipment. Now, go and interview the pool owners and they'll say, in 14 years, nobody ever came down here handicapped. I mean, these are towns that had 800 people living in them, right? There's nobody that lives in this town that's handicapped, right? It's not something, no, you get that or you close the pool. It's the logic that happens, right? Nothing makes sense in this country. It doesn't. We're going to write hundreds of thousands of laws a year. Do you think that you could come up with 25 new laws to come up with? How do you? Well, if you give somebody a job and their job is to write laws, guess what they do? Well, if your answer is they write laws, that would be logical, wouldn't it? But it isn't. No, they have other people write the laws and hand it to them. And then they look cool and say, I wrote it. That's how a bartender from New York, 3 weeks after becoming elected, right? And becoming now going from bartender to I'm a politician, 3 weeks later, writes a bill of 1,300 pages long about the environment. Give it a rest. Feel free to curse, just spell it wrong. Rosemary. Feel free to curse, just spell it wrong. I'm sorry, people. You know what? You can sit here. You can be a nice person. You can not be controversial. How'd that work out? Ask the second gens. You're going to tell me that people didn't know that that place was kooky? We talked about Ruby earlier, right? We watched Ruby earlier, didn't we? Okay. Ruby was with this Jody Hildebrand evil woman. And the neighbor said, I think the kid came from the house down the street. That woman is just weird. We always knew something was up, right? How many times do we hear that? Yeah, you hear it with serial killers, right? Where they go, wow, nice guy in the world. I never would have known. But you hear it the other way all the time. Man, I knew something creepy was going on at that church. We talked about it for years, right? Told jokes about it, right? Crazy Scientology eyes, right? They tell the jokes about it. They stigmatize it. They do all that. But nobody does the damn thing about it. Okay, so I ain't got a big platform, people. I don't. But I got one. I have a platform. By the time this is done, hopefully about 5,000 people see it. I hope 5,000 people today start thinking about maybe not going and watching something. If you show up on it and there's a 13-year-old girl there and it says 13-year-old selling her backside, maybe just walk away. Right? Because guess what, people? Every time you go view, you're voting to keep that on the air. You can church that up any way you want, but you are voting to keep it on the air. You guys send me emails. I just thought I would tell you what so-and-so said about you. I just want to email you back and go, so you were watching somebody trash me for 45 minutes and now you want to pop in and tell me what they said about me? Good looking out. Good looking out. Pick any name in this chat you're looking at. Any name rolling up. If I go somewhere and they're talking about one of you, I'm not sticking around to hear what they got to say. I'm not. I'm getting out of there. Doesn't make sense. Dirt in, dirt out. Let that stuff into your life and see what happens. Seriously. Let this garbage into your life. Let 13-year-old nipples through see-through bikinis into your life and see if it makes you a healthier human being. You know what? A fire tribe, Mick, is people that literally spin fire. My son is actually a member, a bona fide member of a fire tribe. It's a really wild thing to watch. You see it a lot of places like in Hawaii. Yep, you see it a lot in places like Hawaii at luau's. You also see it at places like Burning Man and at festivals. It's pretty good. It's all about money and votes. It absolutely is all about money and votes. And these people get to the highest level of power and there's nothing else to get. They'll get them kids, right? It happens, people. It happens. It's pretty sick. I've said, look, man, you want my simple political solution to all of this? Don't vote for an incumbent as long as you live for the rest of your life. Don't vote for anyone who's ever been in office. If everybody in America just raised their right hand and said, I will never vote for an incumbent again, we'd be an amazing country. We would. We would be just like we were when our founding fathers sat down and said, boy, we need to fix this. Well, it needs to get fixed again, right? Encumbered, weighted down by. Yeah, these people are. It is about control. It's about power, right? It's about power. It's amazing if you start to deep dive, and I'm going to lose subscribers today, a grip of them. I am, for doing this video, because there's going to be a bunch of people that don't like the things that I said. And guess what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But if you don't say what you believe, right, because you think it's going to lose you views, well, then you're not real, are you? You're somebody that does something for money that they don't want to do. You get paid to do something you don't want to do. I don't want to ever be that guy, right? Oh, incumbent. Sorry, Mike. I thought you asked a different word. No, an incumbent is the last person, somebody who is in office running for office. The incumbent is the person still in office. I'm sorry. I thought he said encumbered. Incumbent. Yeah, incumbent is someone in office. Don't vote for anybody that's already there or already has been there because they're corrupted. They're corrupted. You get corrupted the day you get there. Unless you are just really, really an amazing human being, then trust and believe you are going to end up corrupted. They come rolling in with whatever you want. Think of the power of buying one political official, and then think of the power of buying 10. How many do you think slept with kids and they had photos on them, right? What do you think they were doing in that island? They were doing that just to be nice to those guys? Come on down, sleep with some kids. No, they were videotaping, they were making audio tapes, and then they were using that to swing whatever bill you want through or shoot this down. Or people, have you ever watched something happen in politics and you just go, that's shocking, right? That's shocking. Like when I don't care about the politics of it, people. I don't care about the politics of it. You don't believe that? I don't care. But when Obamacare was going through, you had a complete split vote. And then the head of the entire, Supreme Court was going to split the vote, the final vote. A guy that was, for all intents and purposes, a slam dunk on the right as a Republican. But he came out and said, I'm going to pass this because it's a tax. Even though they said for 4 years, this ain't a tax. It's not a tax, right? It's not a tax, not a tax. He said, no, I'll pass it. It's a tax. I'd like to know what pictures they had on him because it didn't make sense. It didn't. And this happens a lot where you go, how the hell did they vote that way? I don't know, man. Maybe they got a picture of him with a girl dressed as a cheerleader. I'm not being funny or flippant. I promise. It's absolutely disgusting. It's disgusting. I think she's going to end up dead, Shannon. I think something bad is going to happen to Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what I think is going to happen to her. But I'll be really honest. I'm shocked that she's still alive now. I really am. It certainly impresses me as the kind of person that they need to silence. But she also may be slick, right? Maybe she's slick. Like maybe the first time they came to talk to her, she said, I got 40 copies of that book. I got 40 copies of them. And right now they're sitting at law offices all over planet Earth. And if I end up in the same situation that old homeboy did, like I accidentally unalive myself, they're going to every single news channel. They're going to every single publisher. I got this ready to roll. That could have happened. That woman was gone a long time. And I don't think she got to where she got to being stupid. I would say that G. Maxwell may have put something in place. I would have, right? If I had that long to hide and knowing what she knew, I would have put something into place. I would have said there are a lot of attorneys, right? A lot that have a copy of this, and they are going to mail that out. She's got the goods on everybody. That woman has got the goods on everybody. Like a dead man switch, Kyle. That's probably the way to put it, right? Kyle's probably a little smarter than I am. That's what it's called. You know what I'm talking about, people? The dead man switch. You let go and it's all over. I think she probably did that. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Anna, boy, oh boy. Citizens United. People, if you've never done a deep dive on this, Anna, you and I could have a deep conversation. Josh Duggar. Look, people, we see it everywhere. And you know what? Again, maybe I wish Reese was here for this one, but you know what? Was there not a period of time a while back where they just decided that even the equipment that women have was not going to look like female adult equipment anymore? You know what I'm talking about, right? I don't want to get hellaciously graphic and I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, but Women without clothing on these days don't look like women without clothing on anymore these days, right? They tend to groom a lot different, and it makes them look prepubescent. And this is just the thing. And it doesn't, all of this leads to a very unhealthy kind of an attitude in the society. It's so effed up. It really is. It's so bad off. Do you know something? I love you. I love you. And I have a kid named Cedar. But I'm done with you. I mean, it's easy to say because I can't watch a movie, right? So it was a whole lot easier for me. But I don't watch films, right? I haven't watched a film in forever. They're never going to make another dollar off of me. I don't watch anything on television. I watch YouTube. That is all I watch. Nothing else. And I'm not voting with my freaking dollars. I'm not going to a channel that I think makes content that is against what my beliefs are, because it's giving them money and it's voting for them. Do you know what happens if you make a video? If I did this video and 4 of you watched it, do you think I would be enthused to make another one just like it? Well, I'm an idiot. I might, because this means something to me. But as a content creator, you understand what I'm saying? If you're, if something doesn't work, you stop doing it. And if something works, not only do you keep doing it, so does everyone else, right? So if 5 million of us go over there just to be disgusted at the fact that soft white underbelly put on a 13-year-old girl whose nipples we could see, if 5 million of us go over there, you know what other content creators go? We need to get us a 12-year-old hooker with some nipples. Sadly, this is what, you understand how this works? Stop voting for it, right? Stop voting for it. It's so easy to just not even think about it and go, I'm going to go over, I'll leave a message. I'll show them. Yeah, here you go. Here's a view and I hate you. Guess what? I'd rather have 1 million people leave and I hate you and watch, right? Than 1,000 people tell me they love me and be the only 1,000 that watched. It's not, you make money with views, people, right? That's how content creators get paid, by views. So you going over to hate them, that's not what they get out of it. It's not what they get out of it. They're laughing all the way to the bank. Yeah, the future's ours. What? In all honesty, people, our hope for the future, right? Our kids. It's not a cliche, right? That's the future, right? We're going to be taken care of by these kids that we're allowing China to brainwash, and we're allowing the rest of the world to see like they're 26-year-olds, when they're barely out of a training bra. We've lost it. We've lost our way as a country and as a world. And the easiest way to look at it is looking at a kid. Look at what we're doing to our kids. Forget the rest of it. Forget all the stupid politics. Look at what we're doing to our kids. And don't be okay with it. Don't be okay with it. That's all I'm asking. Don't be okay with it. Tommy, I would never be okay with that. Did you watch the video? Huh? Did you? Did you share it? You do that, right? You share a video pissed off. I cannot believe this. Look at this crap. You realize what a share is? Honest to God. Like if you're a content creator, sharing my content, I mean, that's how things go viral, right? When people share things. And by the way, that video killed it. They killed it. They're making a fortune on that video. And the controversy is, they're loving it. The more the controversy, the better. Huh? It's different when you sit in front of a mic and the entire thing that you do is you're right. You're right. When you sit in front of a camera and you're the show, right? But when you're producing and you're putting a 13-year-old in front of you, right? That there needs to be a lot more hate. I'm sorry, there really does. Like, how do you not hate that? How are you not disgusted at that? And you know what's unbelievable? You know something? Really, really an interesting question on that. Really an interesting question, isn't it? I want to tell you something. I wouldn't be any more angry, I promise you. But there are a lot of people who would. Believe that. Believe that. And it's not okay. How's that? I think I'm going to leave it at that, people. It's not okay. And the reason I'm ending this early is because it is 3:30 in California. And at 4 o'clock in California, 4 o'clock, I will be with Rabbit going down the rabbit hole. It's not at the time I said because Alan. So I'm going to be going live with Rabbit at the top of the hour. And then I'm going to be doing another lifeboat. So I will be going live after that. I know this is a little off topic, but I just watched a video on surrogacy, the buying of babies. And oh my Lord, if you knew how much this is going on right now in our world, people, what do you think is happening to these kids that come across the border unaccompanied? I'm not trying to sound like a jackass and I'm not trying to bum anybody out, but you know, the going rate for a kid, about 55 grand. You know, I'd like to think that the people spending 55 grand were having real problems having a kid, maybe couldn't adopt, or were really having some problems and they weren't treated. But guess what? That ain't how it's going down. And everybody knows it. Think about it. That's not how it happens. The people that are acquiring these people are doing it so that they can make their life hell until they die. Don't be okay with it. Force whatever idiot is in office on whoever side of that. I don't care. I swear to you, you can hate me for it, but I don't care. I just want somebody to stop this crap. The drugs and the kids. Do whatever else you want, but take care of the drugs and the kids. Right? People, I'm going to be screaming about this at election time. And you know what? I don't know which side I'm going to be on. And I swear to God, I'm telling you the truth. But whatever one comes up with a better plan for making sure that the poor people of Mexico are not being sold into slavery and that the poor people of America aren't doing dope that the Mexican cartels are trying to kill us with, thanks to China. Spanx Calhoun, give us a big shout, would you? Where's my boy? There you are, Spanky. I love you. We'll see you on the next one, boy. All right, everyone. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. The cat, that's a cowbell because you always need more cowbell. Can you believe this? But see, I cut a deal with her earlier. She said she was doing 2 shows today, no more, no less. So she should be in the next 2 shows. Thank you, Spanx, to everybody that sticks around till the end. I really appreciate you. People, you know what? This really is one of those things where if you're not part of the problem, I mean, part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Don't watch things that exploit kids. It's just like saying, it really is. Don't watch anything that you think is offensive because this is what you're doing, right? That's what you're doing. To everybody that makes something that you say, I hate, this is what you're doing. You could talk all about how much you hate the person that's trashing me. If you watched their entire video, I'm never getting that email again. I'll just block you because it's the dumbest thing in the world, man. It is the dumbest thing in the world to say, I hate that. I just finished watching it. Come on, people, tighten up your game. I'm Captain Tommy. Let's see you down the rabbit hole, huh? Bye-bye. Thank you, Spanx.